ATG-style seated good morning. First, the why. The why is that it's the fullest range posterior chain exercise. What does that mean? It means your thigh and your torso come closer together than any other exercise. Even a Romanian deadlift, things like that, which are really deep, well, if you still look at the angle of the torso to the thigh, it's not as deep as a seated good morning. So it is going to be the fullest range posterior chain exercise. What does that mean? Well, it means that it carries over to almost anything you do with your lower body. So every time you squat, if you look at it, your seated good morning strength and mobility, if you're tight or weak. So the more flexible you are in your seated good morning, the stronger you are, the better every single squat's going to be. Every Olympic lift, even every sprint start, because you're starting down in this position. So because it's the fullest range, it does have the most carryover to everything you do with your lower body. So this is like the foundation of your posterior chain. How to get started is very important. When you're going through this exercise, the first thing you have to establish is the mobility. You don't want to find the weight and then find the mobility. Find the mobility first, then build the strength. And by doing that, you'll be able to use weight to increase mobility over time. And we've continued this to a point, which I'll be showing you, where your thigh is in line with your torso. I'm going to show you exactly what that means. And we have gone as heavy as body weight on back. I think the nature of that exercise, because you're leaning forward, if you start going more than body weight on back, it could get a little bit mechanically interesting. So I'm merely teaching you what I know and what I've used, and I've built world-class Olympic bobsled start times with going body weight on back. So I haven't found that you have to go more than body weight on back. That doesn't mean everyone even has to go to that point. But that is the why, the how to get started, and the how to progress. And I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to show it to you with coaching cues. And it's the morning over here in Florida, and my attention caught Derek. In the morning, he hasn't stretched out for this. Derek also has longer legs than me. So it's very important for me in showing you how to get started. So take a look at our bench. This is a standard bench size, but if you look at the angle of your thigh and your torso, well, you could imagine if I was 5'2", then the bench would seem like there, and I would think that abs to bench was full depth, but it's actually not. Same thing if you're 6'6", abs to bench would be beyond thigh and torso in line. So for guys who are a good bit over 6 foot, like Derek, you're going to want to elevate that bench up on something, and you're typically going to want to start. So an average starting point would be a few inches of bench elevation and a few inches of basically what you're trying to get your abs down to elevation. So Derek will sit down here. So again, we're establishing the mobility first. So, and with this exercise, you could train, I've put 80-year-old women through it, and they would start body weight. Their hands behind them would be even less weight than their hands in front of them. So they would go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, then hold a plate, then hold a bar. Now, if it's like an adult male like Derek, okay, he can start with the bar. So Derek will get under the bar, and then I'm going to guide you through the exact coaching cues. But again, we're not loading this bar yet. We're starting with the bar in order to establish the mobility. So since this is an average mobility starting point, the first thing I'm going to establish is hips 90 degrees. Okay? So you don't have to be too wide, you don't want to be too close. Hips about 90 degrees, then his ankles are going to be in front of his knees. That's going to ensure it's all in the posterior chain. So ankle in front of the knee. If the ankle's behind the knee, you can use your quads. Mechanically, you can't actually use your quads if the ankle is in front of the knee. Now I want him to get a strong grip. It really doesn't matter if your grip is wide. Connor can probably edit that. Think you can take that?
Yeah.
All right. It really doesn't matter if your grip is wide or close. What matters is that it's strong. So I want you to get a strong grip. Good. Now I want you to get your chest up. That's going to encourage the low back to the arch. Now take a big inhale and go down. Good, and come back up. Good. And as you're going to take that big inhale, as you go down, you're going to arch your back as hard as you can, and then let it out when you explode up. Good. Give me a couple more reps like that so I can watch. So I'm watching right there. That's really good. He's not losing the curve in his back. So if this was session 1, I could start right there. Now the next set I could try taking a little bit out, but that's perfect form, so you can rack that Thank you, Derek. I'll take it from there. So, those are the points that are gonna make it perfect form. So you can get anyone into this exercise with the right intention. If you have those intentions, now you're gonna create that stretch. If you go relaxed with your back, you're not actually gonna create a stretch, nor are you gonna fully train your strength. And this exercise is continued to perfect form failure of loss of curve. So if you look at my back, this exercise can be carried on until when you go to lift up, you actually can't keep the curve in your back. You see that? So once you get to a point where you try to go up and you can't keep the curve, that would be the end of the set. That is also why we do Jefferson curls, so we don't get hurt in that position, but that's not the purpose of this exercise, because with this exercise, once you lose that curve, that's showing that you weakened. You lost the position you want. And when you're doing a squat with double your body weight and now you lose that position, that's where you can get hurt. So with this exercise, that has its own purpose. And now I'll show you the final thing for this video. With every video, I want to give you at least a realistic look at what we're shooting towards. And you'll see from this nice side angle there, you'll see my thigh in relation to my torso. So you'll see the mobility we're looking for. So again, this bench happens to put my thigh about parallel to the floor, so that if I get my abs down to the bench, then my torso is in line with my thighs. But if you have someone who's shorter, they may need to elevate their feet in order to get enough depth. If they're too short, they're going to be lifted up, and they're always going to be stopped short of that full depth by the bench. Same goes for the taller guy, as I showed you with Derek. So now we're talking about that progression. I'm going to use the weight, I'm going to follow all those form cues, and I'm going to use the weight to pull myself deeper so that every centimeter lower that I get means I'm hitting more muscle fibers, and my body is going to know, oh, if I go deeper, I'm strong there. If I'm strong in that position, I'll let you keep that mobility. So as opposed to just stretching, this can give some pretty cool benefits, because the deeper you go, the more your body will trust you, since you're getting strong through every centimeter of the range. So I'm backing up. I'm getting those thighs 90, ankles in front of knees. I'm going to get a strong grip, chest up, big inhale, and then arch as hard as I can. And then I'm letting out. So you can see the intention on each rep is what makes it work. And if I did totally fine at the amount of repetitions I'm working towards, then I could go more weight. But if I lose the curve, then I know it's too much weight. So that is the why, the how to get started, the how to progress, the coaching cues, and the perfect form failure of the seated good morning. And I'm going to use that exact same format to teach you every ATG exercise.